Hey y'all, welcome back to Mental Health Monday. Today we are going to be breaking down rules 1 and 2. My previous video, I gave you 5 rules that I learned in therapy, and we're going to be going more in depth. Excuse me, I'm trying to do a video. We're going to be going more in depth in all of the rules. So this week I'm going to do rules 1 and 2 together because they kind of have a similar format. They both start off the same way. You don't get to worry about things that haven't happened yet is rule number 1. And rule number 2 is you don't get to worry about things that are not in your control. Well, fucking here's $1 million, Patricia. You cured anxiety. Just tell people, just don't worry. Wow, why didn't we think of that? Just not worry about stuff. Hey, people with depression, have you tried not being depressed? No, okay, I get it. That's kind of like a duh. I'm not trying to worry. I'm not worrying on purpose. It's just that's why we're here, Patricia, because I'm worried about stuff all the time. How do I not worry? Okay, that's what we're going to talk about. How do you follow these rules? So, again, I'm gonna have to say this in every video just to like cover my own ass. I'm not a therapist. I'm just telling you the things that I've learned and my personal experience with everything and what helps me, okay? So if there's something that I say that, you relate to a little bit, feel free to use it, but don't take it as like the Bible of, hey, she knows what she's talking about, because I'm just a patient in a group therapy. I'm not any kind of qualified to tell you how to deal with your anxiety. So, why do we worry? What's going on that like makes us so worried? Okay, so we've got, in therapy we talk about the 3 most common errors of thinking. They are: number 1, overestimating the likelihood of a negative outcome. So even though I could tell you that, I don't know the statistic, 2 planes a year crash, you're not going to get on a plane because you are certain that this plane's going to crash. Statistically, the numbers are against you, but you are overestimating the likelihood that something bad is going to happen. Number 2 is catastrophizing. So that's like, it's going to be terrible, everyone's going to die, everything is going to be bad, it's going to be the end of the world, and I'm going to lose my job, and my wife's going to leave me, and I'm going to be homeless and starving, and I'm going to die. Catastrophizing. Just worst case scenario right off the bat, just 0 to 100, no chill. And then number 3, underestimating our ability to cope. If my girlfriend or boyfriend breaks up with me, I'm not going to live. I'm not going to survive. I'm going to kill myself. I'm not going to be able to handle it. I'm just going to be so depressed. I'm not going to be able to whatever. We just don't think we're going to be able to handle the bad thing that's going to happen, that we're afraid of is going to happen. So this is why we worry. This is why worrying happens, because we either are absolutely certain that there's going to be a bad outcome because we think that the outcome is going to be like absolutely friggin' terrible, and we think we're not going to be able to handle it. We're not going to be able to deal with whatever happens. I'm really, really good at catastrophizing. I have just one of those brains that's like really creative at finding like the worst case scenario that maybe you didn't even think in that direction, and then you're like, oh yeah, you've got a point. I didn't even think to worry about that. I'm good at it. So here's how personally I deal with all of the anxiety that I have inside my body all the time. So these are some things that I personally do when I feel like I'm getting way overstressed. Sorry, I gotta hold it up. When I feel like I'm getting like just way too stressed out, like it's not a normal like, oh yeah, stuff's happening and I'm a little bit, apprehensive about it. Like, it's affecting my life. It's getting to be too much for me. So number 1 is self-care. That one is so important, and it's something that I'm really working on being better about. But get enough sleep. okay? Because if you're tired and you're cranky and you're not getting enough sleep, or you're not sleeping right, you're not sleeping all the way through the night or whatever, everything is just going to be 10 times harder to deal with throughout the day. And don't worry, I'm going to make another video about sleep later on in this video series. So I will talk about sleep and some of the things that have helped me get better sleep. But for now, just sleep better. Eat healthy if you can. Call your friends. Go get a massage. Just do something that, you know, is helping you be healthy and just relax a little bit. So at least you're not having to worry about, on top of everything else, your own health. Take care of your health. Number 2, for me, I really like to pray. If religion is not your thing, you can meditate, you can visualize. They all kind of have the same effects of, like, putting out there into the universe kind of like your desired outcome for this scenario. So like I'll pray for a situation to end up a certain way. Can you not? But I like to pray just because it's a calming thing for me to kind of give my problems to God. If that's not your thing, if you aren't religious or you don't want to do that, you can visualize your desired outcome. And I don't like necessarily have the studies right now, but I've read some, and visualizing does like improve your confidence, and it makes you more likely and more capable to be able to handle the situation. If you're visualizing that, like, I can do this, I'm gonna make this basket, and you visualize it enough times in your head, like, you really increase the chances of being able to do it. If there's something in the future that you want to go a certain way and you're really worried about it, just visualize the outcome that you want over and over and over again, and maybe it's not gonna 100% be like that for you, but it's gonna make you more confident and more capable to, you know, guide the situation towards that outcome. And then just meditate. Sometimes just have, you know, a couple of just quiet minutes with yourself. Number 3 is journal. I don't necessarily like write out, you know, dear diary or like a story or complete sentences, but I do like to make lists. Guess what? As part of the OCD, I really like making lists of things. So when there's something that's stressing me out, I kind of list all of the things I can do about it. Just realistically, like, what is actually in my power to do to change this thing or to make it kind of turn out how I want. I'll write down all the ways that I can potentially influence the situation in my favor, but just organize your thoughts into actual words instead of just like crazy things jumbled around in your brain. Or if there's no solution to something, it's just, you know, this thing that's gonna happen that you're worried about, and there's no way to fix it. It's just gonna happen in the future. It just hasn't happened yet, but you know it's gonna happen. Just write down how you feel about it. That sounds kind of like cheesy, but just write your emotions down, acknowledge them, honor them, let them out, put them on paper, and I promise you feel better. As soon as you just get it down on paper, it's kind of like the same concept as when people say, you know, you're angry at someone, so write them a letter, but don't send the letter. You get everything out that you're angry about or worried about or sad about. You put it down on paper, you organize your thoughts into sentences, and then it's, you know, it's out there. It's not in your brain rattling around in your mind, keeping you up at night. It's on a piece of paper. Number 4, breathe. There are so many breathing exercises that you can do. You can find them online where it's like counting as you breathe in and counting as you breathe out, or breathe in, hold it for a certain count, 1, 2, 3 or whatever, and then breathe out, hold for 1, 2, 3, breathe in. Just all kinds of things, but the like main important part of all of them is to breathe from your diaphragm, like the important part is to breathe from your diaphragm. So instead of like my choir teacher would say, like, instead of growing a cup size when you breathe in, you don't go, you breathe from your stomach. And I'm not going to show you because I just had a burger and fries and I'm not super excited about what my stomach looks like right now, but you know where your stomach is. Breathe from down here instead of like up in your chest, in your shoulders area. Your shoulders shouldn't be like, because that's anxiety breathing. That's stressed breathing. You want to breathe like, just send the breath like deep into your belly and then breathe it out slowly. Deep into your belly and then breathe it out. Number 5 is something that I do a lot. You guys, if you watch my Fitness Friday, you know, exercise. That's something that I kind of like visualize while I'm exercising, and I take that time to kind of just be in my own head and just kind of focus my thoughts, go through different scenarios in my head. When I'm exercising, that's my time to like just be with me in my brain. And I personally, for me, I get a sense of like accomplishment whenever I finish a workout that really helps my self-esteem and helps me feel like I'm more capable of handling whatever problem I have to have, or I have to handle now, because I just did this workout. I just ran however long I just ran. That was hard. If I could do this physical thing, then I can tackle whatever this problem is over here. That's just for me personally. If I feel like I can tackle some kind of physical barrier and overcome like a physical obstacle, then it gives me that confidence to try and overcome some other kind of thing that I'm worried about. Number 6 is have compassion for yourself, okay? You're doing your best. You're trying your hardest right now. It's okay if you're not perfect. It's okay if you can't do everything. It's okay if things are overwhelming you right now. Have some compassion for yourself. Go easy on yourself, okay? You don't have to set these super high expectations and expect everything to turn out perfect. Like, it's okay if you mess up sometimes. Number 7 for me is slow down. So raise your hand if you get really annoyed when people are walking really slow in front of you and it just like drives you insane, and you like, when people are driving slow, you just want to kill them. And when you're going up an up escalator and the person in front of you is just standing on the escalator instead of walking up the steps, and you're like, can you get out of my way? I need to move. That's anxiety, girl. That's your like under your skin, like constantly nervous, anxious energy of like, I just gotta keep moving. I gotta go faster. Slow down. Just take a whole long time to just slow it down, okay? Maybe, like for me, maybe you're putting too much on your plate. Maybe you need to like take some things and put them on the back burner so that you're not rushing around doing all kinds of things and trying to meet all these deadlines and do all these things and be all this stuff for all these different people and so many friends and whatever. Like, maybe you just gotta, focus your energy, decide what kind of things that you can commit to right now, and everything else can just wait until you've got everything under control. Just, slow down. And if you guys were reading up or down at the bottom of this thing while I've been holding this up, your anxiety may go up when you start doing these things. For me, the thing that made my anxiety go up a lot was doing like breathing and meditation exercises in therapy, like being in the therapy group and doing like a group meditation, because it was one of the first times that I just kind of like became very introspective and actually like paid attention to what was happening in my head instead of trying to distract myself with things. Like, raise your hand if you're on your phone all the time. Every time you're just standing around not doing anything, you got to pull your phone out. It's because you're trying to distract yourself from what's happening in here, because this is really anxious. So when you have to just sit and meditate, and you have to close your eyes and just be by yourself in your brain, I started crying because I was just so anxious. I was so uncomfortable. I was so nervous. It was all just too much of concentrated anxiety in my brain when I first started like meditating and doing like the breathing exercises. It was like I was too aware of my body and everything going on. And so once you start to kind of like let yourself feel these things and acknowledge your feelings and get really like into your brain of like, why am I feeling this way? Let's journal about it. Let's keep asking like, why am I feeling this way? What are the, you know, the thoughts that I'm having that are making me feel this way? You might find yourself way more anxious in the beginning at first, just because you're not ignoring it anymore. You're not avoiding it or trying to distract from feeling anything. You're actually allowing yourself to feel, and you're acknowledging your anxiety. So just be patient with that. Be aware that that's a possibility that can happen. And again, just have compassion for yourself that you're having some feelings, and that's okay. But those are the things that I do personally to keep myself from getting too worried about things that haven't happened yet or things that are not in my control. So I hope that that was helpful for you. We're going to talk about all of the other rules as we kind of go on through the weeks here. But these two I felt like could be joined together, and so that's how I cope with stress and worry. Make sure if you have any questions or you want to, you know, learn other techniques or whatever, talk to a real therapist. This video was kind of long, but I really hope that it was helpful for a lot of people. Most of my therapy sessions are like an hour and a half, so I've really condensed it for you guys. I hope that this helps somebody out there. Please make sure you subscribe to my channel. Have a great Mental Health Monday, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.